a beautiful place to live in. Many people move to Oregon because it has a lot to offer. Besides its beauty and nature, people choose Oregon because it has no sales tax. But most importantly, businesses choose Oregon because it's like a paradise for corporations. This is due to Oregon having one of the lowest tax rates on corporations.
Senator Bernie Sanders stated, "At a time of massive income and health inequality, it is time for large profitable corporations to start paying their fair share of taxes." Good evening, everyone. My name is William Andres, and today my colleagues and I have developed a special report on why Oregon should raise their corporate taxes. We'll be hearing today from our fellow reporters Ian Venegas, Lily Mayfriend, Norma Palacios, Patricia Andres, and Mariana Magana Macias. We'll be reporting why it is beneficial for Oregon to increase their tax on corporations, and how raising corporate taxes will input more money into the state's economy. Some corporate tax initiatives, such as Measure 97, could have raised more than $3 billion annually. If it had passed, this money could have been used towards education, which Oregon has the third largest class sizes in the nation, transportation, Portland's traffic is terrible, and other areas in need, such as healthcare. Now, imagine a better, safer Oregon, with nice roads, less traffic, and with better schools. All of this can be possible if Oregon's legislation approves a corporate tax initiative that will raise corporate taxes. Because I believe, as well as everyone else, that corporations should pay their fair share amount of taxes in the state of Oregon. All major corporations should be held accountable and must pay their fair share amount of taxes, as every Oregonian already does. Higher taxes on corporations means more money for Oregon's budget, more school funding, and a better quality of life for all Oregonians. It does not come as a surprise that many big corporations that we are all familiar with, such as Nike, Intel, and others, are headquartered here in Oregon. You may ask why? Well, Oregon has the lowest corporate taxes in the nation, which is shocking. Yes, you heard right. Oregon is dead last in corporate taxation. Now, to further develop more on this topic, we have Ian and Lily reporting live from our studio, who will be giving a brief overview of the current state of corporate taxation in Oregon, and where the extra funding from raising taxes will go.
Thank you, William. According to OCPP.org, Oregon is tied nationally as 45th lowest from receiving tax revenue from corporations. But what percent of Oregon's tax budget is made up of corporate taxes? According to the Council of State Taxation, in 2014, Oregon received 8.8% of tax revenue from corporations. And from 2004 to 2014, the Oregon corporate tax rate has increased by 0.4%, which is outstanding considering some corporations like Nike are headquartered here in Oregon. But how does it compare to the rest of the budget? 42% of Oregon's budget is composed of business property taxes. From 2004 to 2014 has increased by 5.1%. And I think that puts a bigger burden on small businesses to pay more taxes, especially when it comes to property taxes, because most small businesses in Oregon rent spaces from other people. Small businesses aren't the only ones affected by these tax rates. Oregonians' property taxes are higher than corporate taxes. Property tax rate in the Oregon budget is composed of 9.2% of the revenue and has only increased by 0.2% from 2004 to 2014, which is half of what corporate tax rates have increased by. So property taxes are higher than corporate taxes and is putting a bigger burden on them. And I don't think small businesses in Oregonian should cover the tax burden. Corporations headquartered in Oregon should have a social responsibility to pay more, especially towards social services like Medicaid and education. And on that topic, Lily has gathered some thoughts from the community on tax allocation. Let's see what she has discovered.
Thanks, Ian. According to Week.com, $3 billion would be raised in tax revenue if Oregon were able to implement a 2.5% tax on gross receipts. Since this tax is not enacted, Oregonians like you and me are forced to pay a higher tax rate on our income tax and property tax, with no guarantee of having generated enough funding for the state to cover the costs of the programs that our communities depend on. So I hit the streets to talk to a couple community members to see where they would allocate the $3 billion sourced from a hypothetical raise on corporate tax. First, I talked to Isabella Marenko, a Portland State University student, to see where she would put the money.
I think Oregon should give that money to schools and helping the community. I think schools would benefit a lot because teachers usually just get paid for their salary, but they could use the extra money for like hands-on experience with the students and helping them learn more in different areas.
After talking with Isabella, I headed over to Oregon PIRG to talk to consumer and tax advocate Celeste Swango to see where she would put the fund.
I think if it were up to me, I would put it in infrastructure, so repairing roads and highways, and investing in public transportation. I'd also advocate for there to be a rainy day fund for the state of Oregon, also more money for education and more money for clean energy programs.
They both mentioned education, which is interesting because according to the governor's budget, Oregon is already putting 20% of the budget towards education. And how is this relevant, you might be asking? Because something is wrong if schools like my alma mater, Astoria High School, are forced to take school days off every year because they aren't able to fund them. The Oregon budget is just not big enough to properly fund each and every school district. With an extra $3 billion, Oregon would be able to invest more in each student, ensuring higher test scores and more college-bound students. Lawmakers need to listen to community members like you and me so we can implement this tax and benefit the many things we care about.
Why do we care? A lot of corporations here in Oregon pay little to nothing in taxes. According to Oregon Center for Public Policy, quote, Oregon, among all states, has long ranked at or near the bottom in terms of business taxes, including corporate taxes, close quote. This is something that I'm worried about because I don't think it's fair that because there is not a law that obligates big corporations to pay taxes, these corporations are moving to Oregon and getting advantage of it. If they start paying taxes, that will lead to a bigger budget. This budget will be helpful to healthcare and education. With Measure 97, there was fear of how the money from corporation tax will be used. I feel that there should have been more details about this because it was not clear. On that way, people could have supported this. Corporation taxes is an issue that is relevant nowadays. On Sunday, May 4th, The Oregonian published an article called House Democrats Propose New Tax Rate for Oregon Businesses, where they proposed, quote, to levy a 0.95% tax on Oregon businesses' sales over $5 million. The tax will bring in a net of $2 billion for school and other essential services in the upcoming biennium, close quote. This is an example of how by making corporates pay taxes will bring a lot of money that could benefit a lot of Oregonians.
At the end of last year, there was a corporate tax initiative, Measure 97, which broke record for the costliest ballot initiative in Oregon history, according to the Oregonian. This was in order for corporations to pay their fair share of taxes here in the state of Oregon. However, according to OPB, Oregon Public Broadcasting, many big manufacturing and retail businesses, such as Costco, Fred Meyer's, Albertsons, Safeway, Lithium Motors, Cambia Health Solutions, Comcast, and Chevron, were among some of the top companies to contribute money to the Anti-Measure 97 campaign. Since Oregon ranks dead last in corporate taxes, it is no surprise that corporations such as Nike, Flair Systems, Columbia Sportswear, Tillamook County Creamery Association, Lithium Motors, and Cambia Health Solutions paid millions of dollars to the Anti-Measure 97 campaign in order to continue avoiding paying their fair share in Oregon. Keep in mind that these are just some of a few companies that rack up some of the biggest sales in Oregon and end up paying very little to nothing. The money that would then come from corporations could help benefit Oregon for services such as education, senior services, transportation, law enforcement, and many more. Legislation needs to pass a corporate tax initiative. I encourage you, the voters, to support a new corporate tax initiative that will make corporations pay their fair share of taxes, just like they should be doing right now. Up next is Mariana, who will explain how you can make a difference.
Thank you, Patricia. Today, Oregon's not a fair tax state because many corporations get away with not having to pay their fair share of taxes. So we say that they should be held accountable and by inputting a sales tax on corporations. This would benefit Oregon and its residents in so many ways. It would first make it fair for smaller businesses that big corporations pay their part and contribute to the economy of Oregon. Second, it would create a lot of revenue for Oregon. This new money created could help us fund more education, fix problems with the transportation, and with healthcare. As you have heard from many Oregonians, this is a very important issue that needs to be addressed. In order for this to be possible, we encourage everyone and need everyone to go out there and vote the next time there's a measure on tax corporations. Only by voting will you, the people, make it fair for the small businesses that big corporations pay taxes. Together, we will bring a brighter future for Oregon and if its residents go out and vote.
Right. Thank you, Mariana. When Warren Buffett says corporate taxes are too low, we should listen. This has been Group 7 Newscast. Till next time.
We encourage all Oregonians to take action on this very important matter. This is necessary in order to make it fair for all businesses that corporations pay their fair share. We cannot continue to let corporations get away with this any longer. We need to put an end to this. To make this possible, people need to support organizations that are working together to make this happen. Not only that, but we ask that you support any new measure to raise corporate taxes. Therefore, we encourage more people to get better informed on corporate taxes and how corporations not paying is not beneficial in any way to Oregon and its residents. Only by voting and by encouraging others to vote will you, the people of Oregon, make a difference in Oregon's future.